Good morning, everybody. It is now Tuesday, the 19th of March 2024, and wow, the world has gone wackier and wackier than ever. Between all the talk of what's happening with Haiti, or Haiti, whatever you want to call it, with all the cannibalistic voodoo people and all the gold that's hidden there that they're going to steal, and there's a number of people that they're sending to America to become the zombie apocalypse, to create more fear and spread disease and everything else. Wow, what can I say? The world is crazy. Sometimes I'd love to be a bird where you can just pack up and leave whenever you want. And hopefully when you land, you don't get run over by a car, bitten by a dog, or eaten by a cat. It's the only danger you have when you're one of those birds. But anyway, this here is official government paperwork. As you can see right up the top, it is from the Home Affairs, and it is the Planning Australia's 24 to 25 Permanent Migration Program. Yay! Wow. They're planning this. It is. See, planning. The word up there is planning. So they can't say that this is just natural occurrence. They have planned and organised all of this. It's like the dominoes that you set. When you push the first one, it naturally goes click, 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 and they all fall until there's no dominoes left. That is Australia. So this is really, really, really bad. So basically they're doing, this is their outlining of everything, and it is official. It says official on every single page. And this was done what date was it? They wanted submissions from people, and I hope somebody did. I'd love to read the submissions, closing the 17th of December 2023. So that's not even 3 months ago, 3 months and 2 days. But anyway, so this official paperwork goes through a whole heap of different categories, or reasons as to why to justify why they have the migration as it is. It's a load of smoke and mirrors. It is magicians' work. I'm over here, and while here they're doing something shoddy to try to convince people that what they're doing is justifiable, and it's a load of rubbish if you ask me. So they're talking about, obviously, about the objectives of the migration program, economic benefits. So they're saying the economic skilled migration in particular can support productive growth of onsetting Australia's ageing population. Yes, there is an ageing population. They're worried about we're getting too old. Too many people are getting too old, and there's not going to be enough workers to look after us because we're all going to get sick from having all of these therapies that they're giving us. So, because they've got to make money off us. When we can't work, you think the government, they worry about, they need taxes. People need to be employed, got to get taxes. But they make more money on getting investments on the shares that they buy on stock for treatments for people that get sick from a product that they gave them. You see what I mean? They win either way. I don't believe the only economic benefits is from the government, because at the moment, whenever a new migrant comes here, and you're thinking it's a migration, so they've emigrated. So when you emigrate, you are settling. You're leaving your existing country or home, you're packing your bags, and you're moving to a new place. You're not intending to go back. It's not like you're going on holiday. You're not going there to check it out to see if you want to live there. You've packed your shit and you've left. And of course, you don't bring your white goods with you, do you? You don't bring your furniture with you. So when you come to the new place, I'm going to go to old place and new place, old people, new people. I'm going to use that. So you come to the new place. When the new people come to the new place, they have to get fridges, white goods. They need to get obviously a rental or a house, some accommodation. They need knives and forks. They need plates. They need everything, and that's through the GDP, which is great for the government because it proves what a great job they're doing in keeping the Australian government keeping the economy going. But for us as the existing or the old people, inflation's going through the roof. The cost of living is going high. You can't even pay your rent. You can't pay your electricity. You can't pay your fuel. You can't pay your insurances. You can't find a place to live. You can't afford anything. So that economic situation is only benefiting the government. Social benefits. Well, what social benefits do you see? I can't see any at the moment, and I don't mean that when I'm not talking about where these people are coming from. I'm talking about the number of people that are coming. Australia is not prepared. It's like having a big party, and next thing you know, someone does one of those, global invites, and next you know you get flooded with people, and everybody gets angry because everyone was expecting free alcohol and free food, and they get there and there's not enough. Or even better still, you're going to a restaurant, you book a table, you go there, you sit down, you've been waiting for 2 months for this restaurant, save your money, you go to the restaurant, you sit down, you think, I'm going to order this, you've been dreaming and fantasizing about this lovely meal you're going to have, and you get to this restaurant, you finally get there, and you get to, the waiter to order, and they go, oh, sorry, we don't have any left. What are you talking about? I've been waiting for 2 months for this. This is your number one signature dish. Yeah, but we just sold the last one. Sorry, there's none left. You'd be pissed off. That's what's happening here in Australia. But anyway, so social benefits at the moment, I can't see any. And if you are intending to come to Australia for a new life with your family, maybe give it a few years. Let us catch up before you come, please. Otherwise, you're gonna hate Australia. I had, and I'll repeat it again. I was at the tram stop, the traffic lights near the tram stop, and a young girl was there, and we're talking about the council election. It was coming up, and she said, I can't vote. And I said, oh, that's a shame. And she said, yeah, I'm an international student. And she said, Australia's so expensive. Can't believe. Food's so expensive. Everything, rent, everything's so expensive. And I said, yes. And I said, well, why don't you go back home? She said, I can't. I said, why? And she said, oh, if I can't afford to stay here, but I can't afford to go home. If I go back home to my country, I have no degree. I've paid already for my degree. And I can't afford to stay here. And if I go home with nothing. So think about that. Do the government think about that? No, they don't care. They don't care. So social benefit, they're destroying not only our lives, they're destroying the people's lives that come here. And that's the international students and the migrants, because they're going to not have a job, they're not going to be able to afford anything, and they're going to go to crime, or they're going to find some other way to try to find money. And this is not good. And they're going to rely on the government, and then they're going to be a group of, a cycle of people that go, oh, I can't work because, I don't speak the language, I don't understand, I can't use the staff, nobody likes me, whatever it might be. They'll find some reason. But anyway, population planning. Again, this one's a bit, I don't like this. They're talking about incumbent population, which, the only time you ever think about incumbent is when they're talking about a politician, someone that's already in place. So the incumbent population is us, the old people. And how this is, again, population planning. I was talking about the whole, here on the Gold Coast, we had local council elections on the weekend, and I spoke to one of the representatives, and I said to him, how you as if you get in, what are you going to do about the housing and the crime situation? I said, the migrant situation. I said, I'm not against people coming here, but it's just too quick, and it's rushed, and it's falling apart, and everybody's being affected by it. So what would you do? Would you allow them to keep bringing people here, or would you say, no, we're full? I said, because, people are going to get really pissed off, and we don't want unhappy people. That's when people start having, road rage, and you have a lot of fights, and that's dysfunctional, and it's not good for anybody, especially for the young kids that are growing up. They don't need to see all of that. But anyway, and here it says, government is also working with the state, territory and local government, which is the councils. Local government is the council. Okay? So they're talking about working with state and local government, which is the council. So to develop a national population plan to detail how government will work together to plan for future population changes and address housing. And this is exactly what I said to him. I wish I had seen this before the weekend. I would have printed this out and taken it and said to all of them, what are you going to do about this? This is government. This is official paperwork. Official paperwork. But anyway, population planning. And then we get down here to migration reform. Well, I can't see any migration reform there at all, other than it's going to help them bring people come here. Net overseas migration. The kicker is here, the housing, which is the main issue at the moment, is the housing. So basically they're saying migration can impact both supply and demand dynamics of our housing and rental markets, and should be considered alongside with other relevant factors influencing housing availability. What the hell does that mean? If you have too many people, it doesn't matter how they come here, whether there's too many born, too many people that move from one place to another, it doesn't matter. Too many people is supply and demand. If you're not building enough houses, it doesn't matter how many friggin' people you have, there's not going to be enough. So they're basically saying that they're having problems. The construction industry, once again, this is where the government is so shifty. They're trying to use the permanent migration program, does have some impact. Listen to this. This is where they're trying to say that it's not because we're bringing people here, it's because we don't have the right people here. And we don't have enough people already working to build these houses. So while the permanent migration program does have some impact on the demand for housing, it has a lot of impact on the demand for housing, sir. You're an idiot if you think it's only some impact. What a load of rubbish. You are so full of garbage, it's ridiculous. You are. You're all parasites. We need to vote you all out. By addressing, because of skill shortages and restricts the availability. The construction industry, so now they're putting the blame on the construction industry, has reported challenges in finding enough locally trained, qualified tradespeople to meet demand, and highlighted skilled migration as a mechanism to addressing labour supply issues. Well, these people that are coming here to help build these houses and build the infrastructure, what do they live in the clouds? Or do they live in cars? Or are they, I know what they are. They must be turtles. They carry their home on their back. And they don't need a home here. So you've got to, and this is where Leith from micro business, I think it is, and he does all those stuff on the radio shows, talking about the economy and this whole situation. He said it. Well, you need people to build houses, so you bring these. The government says, well, what we'll do is we'll bring all these skilled migrants from overseas that don't know how to use the Australian building regulations, may not even have any tools, may not be qualified to Australian standards. This is where the standards of building practices will fall, because these people come from countries that may not have as rigid standards when it comes to building properties or building assets. So he's saying they have to bring them to the country to build houses, but they've got no houses to live in. They're going to be homeless. So it's almost like watching that stupid movie, that basketball or baseball movie with the guy from the Wolves movie, where he goes, build it and they will come. No, it doesn't happen like that, I'm sorry. You build it first and then you allow them to come. So then they've got somewhere to live and they have security and they have confidence moving forward. So now they're blaming it on the COVID situation, saying that because of COVID we didn't have enough people coming here, and now we're going to increase it because of that. No, that doesn't work. I'm sorry. We had enough situation, but they're saying that we had enough problem with the housing supply issues. Where was it? Here we go. This is the kicker here for me. So they knew all of this before they let these people come, okay? They knew all of this. So if they try to say, under the guise of, oh, we didn't know, this is just natural, we're only doing a catch-up, situation here, what a load of bullshit that they're telling us. A compounding fact is that the new housing approvals were declining before COVID, thus created the environment for housing shortages in 2022 to 2023. Wow. So they knew about it back then. And this is 3 months old, this paper. So they knew back then. And they try to bullshit us and say that they didn't know. What a load of rubbish. They are parasitic worms. We need to get rid of them. And now again, official paperwork, now they're going to try to tell us that, having migrants come here is just absolutely fantastic, and look at the quality of skills of people that we're getting, and look, it's worked for New Zealand and it's worked for Sweden and worked for Switzerland and it's done all of these things and blah, 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 blah. And now they're also going to try to tell us here that we're very lucky here in Australia that they're only bringing in the people that they are. Because look what's happening in the rest of the world. This is their way of rubbing it in our face as a comparison. It even says here, planning levels international comparison. Okay, so once again, this is they're going to say, oh, we could be like Canada. Oh, we could be like America. Oh, we could be like the UK, but we're not. So be grateful that we're being kind and generous to you. Don't be bigoted. Don't be selfish. We have a big country and we have big hearts, and that's true. We have a huge country and we have huge hearts as a nation, but we don't have the implementation, the structure, and the resources to look after all this group of people that are coming, that are here already. 1 million people last year. 1 million people. That's insane. Where is the water going to come for these people? How are we going to meet our targets, our 2030 or our 2050 net zero targets, when we're bringing people all the time? Something's got to change. When you look at these levels here, you look at New Zealand. I'm not going to worry about them too much because Australia and New Zealand are so aligned, it's the same. The United Kingdom doesn't have any targets, avoids specifying targets or levels for legal migration. And I love the way they say they don't have them for legal migration. What about the illegals? What about all the refugees? What about all the asylum seekers? So they don't have any levels for legal migration because they don't have any legal migration anymore, I don't think. It's all illegals now that destroy all of their paperwork and are living off the government tit. Yeah, no, ain't going to happen here. No. And then, of course, America has a huge amount. And then they're talking about, where's Canada? Oh, Canada, where are you? Australia, Canada. Oh, it's way over here. Canada adopted the provisional nominee program as part of its 23 to 25 immigration levels plan. Targets for new permanent residents for Canada multi-year planning currently sits at. Okay, this is what the Canadian targets are. Can you see that? Okay, so they had nearly 500,000 people last year, almost 500,000 people this year, and next year they're going to have 500,000. I reckon Australia's going to end up with more than that. I think there's a competition. Australia is up the top. And I think that they're going to say, hey, we're going to have more. They're going to have more. We had 1 million people last year, so we've already beat them. And then just all the usual garbage that comes along here. Here, the main thing they're talking about, how they don't have enough workers to look after the aged and the elderly, which in a way is true. But, maybe if they'd encouraged Australians to have more babies and had a better standard of living when it comes to being a family, maybe if we didn't have such high taxes, maybe if we weren't paying tax, we're taxed for everything. Maybe if we didn't have capital gains. Think back, when did income tax first be implemented? It was after World War I. Why was capital gains implemented? That was in 1985. All of this rubbish. It was never a tax before, and now they're relying on this incumbent income for anybody who wants to strive to get ahead. And you think capital gains, anyone that has Bitcoin, you're going to be paying, depending on your income, you'll be paying 30 to 40 cents in the dollar on capital gains. So don't spend your $1 million profit on your Bitcoin too early, because you'll end up with a huge tax bill and you'll be screwed to the wall. So they're here they're talking about that 2030 or 2050 stuff. The only way that we could ever achieve that is if they kill all the animals and kill all the people, because people are carbon. Everything we do is carbon. Energy is carbon. Anything that creates heat is using energy, which is using carbon. We breathe and inhale, exhale and exhale, inhale and exhale carbon. Plants, taking our oxygen, taking our carbon dioxide and put energy, oxygen out for us. It's just insane. So then we've got all the regional needs. So now they're going to be looking at all the different ways that they're going to get people that come here, spread the load, so to speak. We're all in it together. So, see some of the regional areas. Maybe that's why they're having all of this native title claim stuff happening. They don't want people out in the regions. They want everybody in the cities. So the number of high-rise developments is going through the roof, which is crazy. The one that you can hear in the background here is the one here in Southport, which is stage 1 of 3, which is going to be one, I think, is over 100 levels. This one here, I think we're up about 15 levels so far, and it's massive, and it's noisy, and it's going to be uncomfortable when it's bad enough just with the guys working on it without having people living in it. So I'm hoping I won't be here. I'll still be alive, of course, but I won't be living here. I hope to see a year here and then out of here. And I'll miss my view and I'll miss my birds, but I don't want to live like that. This is a gilded cage at the end of the day. If the water goes out, power goes out, my lift doesn't work, I can't get any water, I can't flush the toilet. There's a lot of limitations in living in high-rise living, and I would prefer feet on the ground. But anyway, it's not about me, and it's just about the way the world is. So this is all planned and organised. The government knew this was all happening. They're all parasitic worms, and we need to vote them all out. Please do your best. Go get that. I'll put the paperwork down. Please have a look at it. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, that I'm exaggerating. Because if I don't hear somebody else's opinion, I will never change. So I remain biased by myself, and that's a bad way to be. So, please look after your dear darling animals, your family and your friends, and be nice, be kind, and always smile. Smile, 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 smile. There's enough grumpiness and unhappiness in this world. We don't need any more. Don't feed the fear. Be happy, and open up your door if you need to for someone. But anyway, I'm going to do as the old ladies say, Godspeed or Godspeed.
It makes me sick what I do for this shitty planet.